In the world of grand visions and colossal investments, certain megaprojects stand out for their apparent lack of utility. From Hawaii's scenic yet controversial Interstate H-3 to Spain's abandoned Ciudad Real Central Airport to Yucca Mountain nuclear waste repository in the United States, each tells a tale of ambitious undertakings facing challenges that render them seemingly impractical and, in some cases, entirely useless. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at 5 most useless megaprojects in the world, starting off with a futuristic smart city called Forest City. It's planned to be built on 4 artificial islands with an artificial forest ecosystem. The location is attractive to investors because it's close to Singapore, which has a busy port and a strong economy. They've already connected Forest City to Singapore with a bridge, making the travel time just 20 minutes. Forest City will have its custom facility, allowing residents to move freely between Forest City and Singapore. The design focuses on being green and innovative. Buildings will have green rooftops and vertical gardens, giving a jungle-like experience. The city streets will be multi-layered, with the low layer for traffic and parking and the upper layer for parks, sports facilities, and transport hubs. Forest City aims to run entirely on renewable energy and is planned to be finished by 2035, costing $100 billion. One of the 4 islands is almost done with apartment buildings, golf courses, swimming pools, and beaches. However, the project has faced challenges. It's mainly funded by China, and Chinese residents had easy access to the city in the early years. By 2019, 80% of the property owners were Chinese, leading to concerns of colonization. After a change in leadership, Malaysia banned foreigners, causing many to leave and new investors to stay away. The pandemic and travel bans added more problems. Malaysia's restrictions meant no new investors, and exiting ones pulled out due to uncertainty. By early 2020, fewer than 500 people lived in the city designed for 700,000. Sales dropped drastically during the pandemic, and the company laid off over 1,000 Malaysian workers, showing the project's downturn. Forest City, with its ambitious plans and political challenges, is currently struggling despite the billions invested. It's safe to say that, for now, Forest City is not serving its intended purpose. Now, let's talk about another big project that even made it to top gear. But it's not just any remote airport. It's Myanmar's Capital, a brand new city they built from scratch. The country's military leaders secretly started building it in 2002. Changing a capital city isn't new. Brazil, Egypt, and Pakistan have done it before. In November 2005, Myanmar's leaders announced the decision to the public, but they kept the name of the new capital a secret. 4 months later, they revealed it, Naypyidaw, meaning the king's residence. The reasons for moving the capital weren't clear. Some thought the military leaders were afraid of a sea attack, while others believed it was based on advice from astrologers. But a big part of it had to do with the old capital, Yangon. Yangon has 7 million people, and it is said to be at its limit for growth. Its population is expected to double by 2050. Also, Yangon became the capital during British rule for the British Navy's benefit, so it made sense for Myanmar to move the capital to a more central place. They spent $4 billion on Naypyidaw, making it seem appealing with a 20-lane highway, over 100 luxury hotels, golf courses, museums, and even a 99-meter-tall replica of Yangon landmark. However, there's a big problem. Not many people live there. Naypyidaw has less than 1 million residents, and most of them live in suburbs that existed before the city became the capital. Why? There's a lack of good healthcare, quality schools, and job opportunities. So even though Naypyidaw looks like a city with everything, it often feels empty, as it is called a ghost town. The huge 20-lane highway is almost empty, and traffic jams are rare. The airport can handle 3.5 million passengers a year, but on a busy day, only a few people use it. Shopping malls are visited mainly by diplomatic staff on weekends, and hotel lobbies are usually empty. Despite looking deserted, there's hope for Naypyidaw. It's built to be a city for the future, and as the population grows, it might become more important. For now, though, it's considered one of the world's strangest capitals and isn't very useful for most of Myanmar's people. Let's talk about a really pretty highway in Hawaii called Interstate H-3. It's 26 kilometers long and goes through one of the most beautiful places in the world. People were worried that drivers might stop to enjoy the view and cause traffic problems because it's so breathtaking. But there's a controversy around this highway. They first had the idea for it in 1960 to help with defense. It would connect a naval base to an air station. But some people didn't like this idea. Environmental groups and native Hawaiians were concerned about the big changes it would bring to nature and their communities. The plan got delayed for 26 years because of environmental laws and a new route to protect the valleys. In 1989, the government decided to exempt the project from some environmental laws, and finally, they started building the highway. It opened in 1997, almost 37 years after they first thought of it. People think it's an engineering marvel because it was really hard to build on the tough land, and they used advanced technologies. The highway has fancy tunnels and mostly goes over bridges to protect the valleys below. It costs a lot more than they first thought, $1.3 billion, or about $50 million for each kilometer. It's the most expensive highway in the world. Even though it's beautiful and impressive, some people don't find it very useful. Critics say it's a road to nowhere because it was originally meant for defense, but that's not important anymore. Also, it doesn't go directly to downtown Honolulu. Some native Hawaiians refuse to use it because they believe it's cursed. Many important cultural sites were destroyed during its construction. So while it's a big achievement, some people think it's useless. But at least it's not abandoned like the next and last project we're going to talk about. Spain is a popular place to visit in Europe, so they came up with the idea for Ciudad Real Central Airport. The plan was to make it a great choice for people traveling within Spain and from other countries. They wanted it to be an alternative to the busy Madrid airport. The new airport had one of the top 5 longest runways in Europe and could handle 2 million passengers a year, with plans to expand to 10 million. It started working in 2009, costing $1.3 billion, but in 2012, the company in charge went bankrupt. The trouble began because, even though it was called the Central Airport, it was 200 kilometers away from Madrid. This made it hard for people to travel there, and big airlines preferred to operate from the capital. So within the first year, only a small airline used it. Without major airlines, the airport went into debt, reaching $350 million by 2012. It went up for auction in 2013 and even appeared on the TV show Top Gear in 2014 as an abandoned place. After failed auctions, it was finally sold in 2019. During the COVID-19 pandemic, when many businesses struggled, the airport got a new purpose. With its big runway and space, it became a place to park grounded planes. By August 2020, 65 airplanes were there, and they planned to store over 300. This helped the airport make money. But once the pandemic ends and normal flights come back, all the stored planes will leave. So even though it found a temporary use, this billion-dollar project is still not helpful for travelers worldwide. We'll finish this list with a megaproject tied to a critical global issue, the Yucca Mountain Nuclear Waste Repository. Nuclear waste is a serious concern, and proper storage is crucial. Currently stored above ground near power plants, the safest permanent solution is agreed to be storing it deep underground. In the 1980s, the U.S. identified Yucca Mountain in Nevada as the best option to do this isolation and geology. However, Nevadans strongly opposed becoming the country's sole nuclear waste dumping site. Concerns over potential contamination of nearby water source and the impact on the local population and tourism heightened the opposition. Despite winning approval in 2002 and resuming construction, Nevada's resistance grew. The Obama administration deemed the project unworkable in 2010, and although a federal court ordered its resumption in 2013, little progress has been made. The Biden administration has excluded Yucca Mountain from the country's plans. Despite decades of planning, legal issues, and over $17 billion spent, the Yucca Mountain project has never been used and remains a useless megaproject. In conclusion, these megaprojects showcase the challenges and complexities in turning grand visions into successful realities. While some projects have found partial use or faced opposition, others remain symbols of unrealized ambitions, emphasizing the unpredictable nature of large-scale endeavors. Thank you for watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel for more amazing videos.